for that particular people who lived, in the 570 when Rasulullah is born, in the common era, in that 6th century or in the 7th century when Rasulullah lived. That's when it only attracted the people of that time. It was only meant for the people that lived back then. So 14 centuries ago, the mindset of the people that lived at that time, the message was limited to only those people. That is not the case. If it has to be a universal message, if it has to be a message which attracts everyone, then it is something which does not have an expiry date, number one, and it is not limited to a certain particular time in human race or human society. So therefore the message, its continuity, its ever-living, everlasting aspect has to be in it. And that's what the beauty of Quran is. That when you read the ayat of Quran, or compare it to other books, of course there's no way of comparing it with other books, but the mindset of the writers, even 200 years ago, if you have books written 200 years ago, 300 years ago, the way people address things is the scope is only for the people of that surroundings, because that's the only scope that they have. They are not able to see the future in advance, or if they are able to predict something about the future, they're not 100% sure about it. So the scope is very limited. But when you look at Quran, you find that it is fitting the people that lived 14 centuries ago, it fits those who lived 7 centuries ago, and it even fits people who are living right now. And it'll be the same way for centuries to come. In the next 100 years, in the next 200 years, it'll be the same thing, that this Quran will make sense to them. In fact, if not, it will make more sense to the people who come 200 years later than it makes sense to people who are living right now in Islam. That's the beauty of it, and that's the universality of the message of Rasulullah. There are many religions in the world, of course. We live in a very diverse society, even within our own city or state, let alone the entire world. But of course, throughout the world, there are many religions that exist, and the followers of each religion believe their religion is the true one. Otherwise, they won't be following it. If you were to go and ask a Christian, that is your religion correct or true or mine? Of course, mine is correct. They'll say Christianity is correct. Otherwise, that person will not be following Christianity. If he says, no, your religion is better, but I still am a Christian. Or your religion is better, but I'm still a Jew. Your religion is better, but I'm still going to be a Hindu. Your religion is better, but I'm still going to be atheist. No, you don't see that. The person that believes in something, when they follow it as a religion or a non-religion, they believe in it, they follow it because they think that it is better than someone else's deen. Otherwise, they will not be following that deen for a moment. So therefore, every person, and that is the tendency, the followers of each religion believe their religion is the true one. One of the reasons why Islam has such universal appeal is because Islam is not a new religion established by the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad Mustafa.
Allahumma salli ala.
Let me repeat that. The universal appeal is because Islam is not a new religion established by the Prophet. It is the same religion that Nabi Adam and all the Anbiya after him preached. Rasulullah just came to go ahead and complete this religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Rasulullah is simply the last Nabi, and Islam is simply the one and the only natural path that Allah has chosen for the human race. So it's not like Rasulullah, after all of this human race has already passed before him, good 6,000, 7,000 years of human history has already passed until Islam came. So Islam is relatively newer than all the other previous religions. It's not the case that Rasulullah has just brought this religion only a few hundred years ago at that time. No. This is meaning that Rasulullah is the only one who's completing that previous religion that was brought by Nabi Adam to Nabi Nuh, to Hazrat Ibrahim, to Hazrat Musa, to Hazrat Isa. Rasulullah is only completing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already sent. And so therefore you find in this deen, what? That universal message beginning from the first Nabi till the last Nabi. And that is the aspect of Islam which is the universal aspect of it. That anyone can find their, something about their religion in it. If someone was to study Islam, If a Christian was to study Islam or a Jew was to study Islam, they'll find similarities of what they believe in this book. They'll find similarities of their practices in this book, in the doctrine, outside of the book even. They'll find, oh yeah, this is something which we do as well. This is something which we do. Why? The reason, the purpose behind that is because we did not come and create something new. It was the continuation of the previous divine scriptures and the divine religions. That is number one as far as the universal aspect of religion is concerned. Here, before I get to Rasulullah a little bit more, Islam has a few qualities that make it to be very, very attractive. Number one, all of mankind. This is what Islam says. All of mankind or humankind is equal. There's no distinction or discrimination based on your gender, color, race, position, wealth, caste, profession, etc. One person is only better than another if he or she is more as far as their taqwa is concerned. And even with this taqwa, this is something that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can judge, not you and I can judge. It means, oh mashallah, that person is so muttaqi. So I mean that person is better than this person because this person is less muttaqi. No. That is something only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can judge. So number one, there's no discrimination as far as your background, ethnicity, color, race, any of these things are concerned. The only criteria for superiority that Islam has laid down, inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The taqwa is there. But even with this taqwa, it's not my duty to go ahead and judge this person is more muttaqi than that person. How do we know? Taqwa is something which is hidden. Taqwa is something which is not obvious to us, not apparent to us. So only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can judge on the day of judgment to tell us this person was more muttaqi whom you thought was an evildoer. That's why a few weeks ago, the discussion was about this. I had recited an ayat of Quran where the inhabitants of Jahannam will say this. According to the ayat of Quran, the inhabitants of Jahannam will say this. What happened? That we do not see those people, those rijal, that we used to count amongst the evildoers. Where are these people? We are sitting here in Jahannam and we don't see those people. Where are these people? Well, you thought they were Jahannami. But they did not belong in Jahannam. You are here, they are not over here. It was your perception that they belong in Jahannam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had other ideas regarding those individuals. So don't judge people as far as their taqwa is concerned. This person might have more taqwa. It's not something which is written on their forehead. Maulana is wearing this hat. That means he's more muttaqi, for example. Sallu ala Muhammad wa
Allah.
So that's number one. The quality of Islam which is attractive. That everyone is equal. Number two, Islam teaches belief with understanding and does not contradict common sense. While you go out and look at other beliefs and other faiths, right away you'll find contradictions with common sense. It allows people to ask questions. That is why there is no taqleed when it comes to the aqaid. The only place you have taqleed is the practices. Because you don't know how to do this, how to do that. But as far as your aqaid are concerned, there's no taqleed whatsoever. Islam forbids superstitions and meaningless rituals. Of course, I can speak a great deal about that, but I'll leave that out for another time and another place. Number three, the Quran challenges the people to find any fault in it or come up with something similar to it. 14 centuries have passed, no one has been able to go out and counter the eloquence of Quran or to go ahead and find any slightest of the contradictions as far as the ayat of Quran are concerned. I myself, of course, looking at the work that our ulama have done, scholars have done in the past, I have given rebuttals to those who try to find mistakes in this book, thinking that any book could have mistakes, but I have responded to the perception that people have with proofs and with evidences. Number four, Islam is not just about worship, the masjid, the spirituality. It has laws on physical, domestic, social, economic, political issues as well. It covers all aspects of human life. So it's not like, this is limited to only one aspect of your life, but the other aspects of your life, no, go ahead and refer to someone else. Deen, and then within this deen, that is the distinction of Ahl-e-Bait. So now we were talking about Islam as a whole, now we're talking about the distinction of Ahl-e-Bait as opposed to the different makatib that exist within Islam. What is the distinction? In Islam, Ahl-e-Bait, the maktab of Ahl-e-Tashayyu, the followers of Ahl-e-Bait, they believe that your imam is not just your imam when it comes to your religious affairs, but he's your imam when it comes to your political affairs as well. He's your imam when it comes to all the other social aspects of your life as well. No, these are the other madahib in which the ruler was someone else and Amirul Mu'mineen was someone else. Amirul Mu'mineen was someone else, and the imam who was going to tell you about the fatawa was someone else. Those were different madahib. Our madhab, the turra-imtiyaz and the vainglory and the distinction is that it has the same person who is the spiritual leader as well as your political leader, and all of those things combined. That's core. Number 5, Islam promotes peace, love, and non-violence, and hatred is something which is condemned. It forbids cheating and the killing or harming of innocent civilians during the times of war and even outside of the time. Of course, some non-Muslims and even some Muslims will disagree, looking at the picture which is painted in the present day of the culture of Islam, which is displayed throughout the societies in the world and how it has been tainted. People will disagree with this statement that Islam promotes love, Islam promotes harmony, peace, and all that stuff. No, it's the contrary of what we have seen in the recent past. If anything, there's only violence in it, barbarism in it, killing in it, and all of those things. And then they'll go ahead and misquote the ayat of Quran. Look, this ayat tells you go ahead and kill infidels. This ayat tells you go ahead and beat this individual. This ayat tells you this is allowed, this is allowed, this is allowed. So this is where we see we're sitting where a lot of people would, of course, go ahead and contradict. Don't judge the religion by its followers, number one. Don't judge the religion by its followers. Followers are not the best example of the portrayal of the religion itself. You want to know the religion? Look at the example of those who are infallible. That is why today, if no one can understand, why we have infallibles as our leaders. Because if you had fallible leaders, then of course the picture of Islam that is presented today in the world is the picture that you'll be seeing. That's the reason we believe in infallible imams. Today, if you ask anyone, randomly, their perception of Islam is driven by, of course, the media. What media shows to them in the news, in movies, in shows, how Islam is depicted. And of course, those who are self-claimed leaders of the religion, in the different formats are showing up and their heads are popping up in different places and they're presenting. That's the reason you're getting that bad name for the religion. Because these are all fallible people. Those who are prone to making mistakes. That's why we take our religion from someone who's infallible. You don't find any mistake in that individual and therefore could serve as that role model for you. So, it refers to the core teachings. Don't look at the followers and say, well, religion is bad, for example. They'll argue that some Quranic verses promote violence. To counter that, there's not a single verse that promotes violence in today's context. Remember, there are many historical references that are present in Quran. Quran is a book which talks about some history, talks about akhlaq, talks about the previous anbiya, talks about ahkam, gives you a whole bunch of things. So there are some historical references to things that happened in the past, which then are talking about some of these, violence-related events that took place. That's the reality of the life. And to counter that, the ayat had come down. And of course, people had difficult time believing the words of Rasulullah. Rasulullah said, this is the ayat of Quran. Then they will right away say yes. Remember, there are people who say, Hasbuna kitabullah, book of Allah is enough for us. So Rasulullah had to use the book of Allah to tell people, come along with me. I want you to come with me to this war, for example. They won't follow the words of Rasulullah. So Rasulullah would have to use the ayat. Allah would reveal the ayat. Look, now the ayat has been revealed. Now would you come with me? So in order to understand, if there's a verse which talks about killing someone or taking someone's life or slaying someone, it has a historical background associated with it. It does not mean in general this is the law. You can go ahead and go on a killing spree. Where have we seen that? Similarly, you could raise an argument about all the other killings that happen around the world. So therefore also leave punishment. If you find ayat of Quran which talk about some sort of harsh treatment or punishment, leave the punishment to the law enforcement agencies. Even when it comes to Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahi anil Munkar, there are restrictions. You and I cannot go to the last resort which is to punish someone if you see nahi anil munkar. For example, if you see someone, hypothetically speaking, someone is drinking alcohol, committing adultery, or someone is doing something which is, Islam forbids. Might be okay in the society. If you're over age, you can drink in this society, but Islam forbids it. So if you catch someone who's drinking, what is your duty as nahi anil munkar? You tell him, brother, this is wrong. Next time you see him, he's still drinking. Tell him, brother, I told you before. Now you start distancing yourself from that person. Third time you see him, this person is still drinking. The third resort is what? Punishment. You start go out and start punishing this person. Punishment means start beating up this person. That's not your duty. Your duty was only limited to the first two. Showing dissent through your heart and through your tongue. And then you're done. So when nahi anil munkar is telling you that you're not allowed to go ahead and harm anyone and take law in your hands, then how can you go ahead and say those ayat which are talking about harsh punishment or talking about violence are for common folk? No, they are there for the law of the land, the people who are responsible for taking out these punishments. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they'll focus on these ayat and then overlook the ayat which are talking about the laws which prohibit showing aggression even towards the captives of war. This person was fighting you half hour ago. Now he's in your custody. You're not supposed to do this to the person. You're not supposed to harm him. You're not supposed to go ahead and... No, those things are not allowed. So how come those ayat are neglected but only picked the ones which somehow hint toward some sort of aggression? I'll conclude as I'm run out of my time. That Surah Anbiya, ayat number 107, is the similar ayat to the one that I recited for you, Surah Sabah, ayat number 28. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ قُلْ إِنَّمَا يُوحَى إِلَيَّ إِنَّمَا إِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. We did not send you but as a mercy to all of nations. Say, it has been revealed to me that your God is the one God, so will you now submit. What I wanted to do is talk about the aspect of the mercy of Rasulullah. Of course, the time of namaz is now coming down, so Adhan was 12:45, and according to the fatwa of Al-Sistani, you have to finish the khutbah and the 2 rakat of namaz, Jum'ah, within the first 45 minutes. So we are very close to that. Even if you just start the namaz within the first 45 minutes, then you don't have to go ahead and offer namaz-e-dhuhr. So therefore I will stop over here as we are running very short on that time, so that you don't have to go ahead and offer namaz-e-dhuhr. Usually when you pray namaz-e-jum'ah, dhuhr is what? Dhuhr is omitted. You don't have to pray dhuhr. But if you miss that time frame, or if you're following someone else, then of course dhuhr is something which is required for you. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us a tawfiq and ability to follow the commands and the teaching of Islam and our Prophet. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.